something you've never heard and will blow your mind. Once upon a time, I tell you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you go.
Hello, children. Welcome to Grandma Wura's Story Hearts, where my stories give you wings and fly you on an African adventure. Today's story is titled The Last Crown. Oh, yes. Several centuries ago, in the eastern part of Africa, there lived a great kingdom called Kwambele. Kwambele was led by a great queen. In Kwambele, they believed that leadership could be taken by anyone, be it male, be it female. Everyone was equal to the people of Kwambele. However, the second in command to the queen of Kwambele thought differently, and his name was Fasi. Fasi thought that leadership was meant for men, and he decided that he was going to change the beliefs of the people of Kwambele towards leadership, and it would stay that way. Moving on. The queen of Kwambele had 3 children. The first of them was Zola. She was the first and in line to succeed the queen of Kwambele. Second was Mutani, and the last of them all was Bekwe. Now, the queen of Kwambele trained her children fiercely and aggressively so that they could be great leaders. And Zola was very committed to making Kwambele even greater than her mother had done. After the queen passed on, one would expect that the next in line, who was Zola, would be crowned queen. However, on the day of coronation, Fasi told Zola, he said to her, "You will never be queen. The crown will never get to you." And Zola watched on that day as Mutani, her younger brother, was crowned king. Mutani did very well, and Zola, although she was very unhappy about what had happened, she decided that it was for the good of Kwambele, and so she was ready to work with her brother to make the kingdom prosperous. On the other hand, Zola was in charge of the army. She was a great warrior, and Kwambele progressed. However, one day, just back from battle, Zola was told that her brother had fallen very ill and had been unable to continue his reign as king. And so there was plan for another coronation whereby another leader would be installed. Zola thought that this was her chance to become queen. But again, Fasi ensured that the crown never got to Zola. Zola watched on once again as Bekwe, the youngest of them all, was crowned king. Oh, she was brokenhearted. She jumped on her horse and rode as far into the desert, far away. She just continued to ride and ride And she went on and on until she got really tired and stopped. She never went back home. One day, she collapsed beside a river. By the time she opened her eyes, she was now in another land, in a little village called Shinka. She had been rescued by a fisherman called Kamau. She found her home there, and soon she was married to Kamau, and they both had a child called Melba. Zola poured everything into Melba, taught her her fighting skills, everything she had been educated on, Melba knew. She also poured herself into the other children in Shinka, and she actually felt very fulfilled in Shinka. Now, several years down the line, Zola became very ill, and she asked Melba that she would have to go to Kwambele, back to her hometown, where the herbs needed to heal her could be gotten from Timiu, the great herbalist. Melba immediately got on the horseback and traveled all the way to Kwambele. Until she got there, she never stopped. On entering Kwambele, Melba realized most of the elderly people were actually looking at her as if they had seen a ghost. Anyway, she asked for directions to where Timiu, the herbalist, was. And when she got there, the same reaction from Timiu. He stared and stared at her and said, "Finally, Zola, you are back to us." Melba said, "I am not Zola. My mother is Zola, but she has sent me to you to get some herbs that could be used to heal her. She is very ill." Oh, Timiu told Melba how that Kwambele had never been the same since Zola left, and that they had been searching everywhere for her for years and years and years. He gave Melba the herbs that she had come for, but he did not let her go until he took her to the king, Bekwe, who was Zola's youngest brother. Bekwe was so pleased to hear that his sister was still alive, for he feared that she had died. And he asked that Melba took him, as well as Fasi and Timiu, to Zola. And so they all traveled back with Melba. On seeing the three men, Zola was very, very shocked and surprised. And they told her how that they had searched for her for several years, but had feared that she died. And going on his knees, Bekwe begged his sister and said, "Please, we want you to come back home. Kwambele has not been the same without you. The army has fallen, the economy has fallen, everything has gone down. We need you to come back home. Big sister, we have failed you. You have been wronged. And today we have come to beg your forgiveness." Fasi reluctantly also apologized to Zola and said that he was wrong to have thought that men led better than women, and that anyone could be leader. And the same would continue to go for Kwambele. Zola thought for a while. Then she responded and said, "I cannot go back with you to Kwambele. My place is here in Shinka. I have poured myself into the people here, and I feel greatly fulfilled here. However, Melba can go with you. All that I am, all that I know, and much more I have poured into Melba. She will be a fine queen for Kwambele and do much better than I can. Zola told her brother, Fasi, and Timil. Melba was taken to Kwambele and crowned, and she did so well. She ruled so well, even greater than her ancestors had ever done. The end. I hope you learned a thing or two from today's story. But not to worry, there will always be one more story for another day. Until we come your way again on the Grandma Wura's Story Heart. This is Grandma Wura saying bye-bye.
Today on Grandma Wura's Story Heart, we learned that it is not good to look down on people, especially because of their gender. We also learned that when we realize that we have done something wrong, we should always find a way to reconcile with that person before it becomes too late.
Discuss more of the other lessons you learned today with your parents or guardians. You can reach me at Grandma Wura on Facebook and Instagram with the supervision of an adult. Also visit www.proudafricanroots.com to get your own copy of the Grandma Wura Story Heart ebook.
Tell you something you've never heard and blow your mind. Once upon a time, I'll tell you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you